What if I told you that in just 17 years, two companies completely transformed the American ski industry, creating a duopoly that controls over half of all US ski capacity? In 2008, a revolutionary season pass at $579 was called crazy by competitors, predicted to fail spectacularly. Today, that decision has generated billions in advance revenue, dramatically changed resort ownership, transformed ski culture, and created both unprecedented access and exclusion. I'm diving into how the Epic Pass and Ikon Pass fundamentally reshaped American skiing from a day ticket business into a season pass dominated industry. For the first time in 2020, season pass holders outnumbered day ticket buyers as the primary revenue source, a complete reversal of the traditional ski business model. Along the way, we'll explore the history, business strategy, impact on mountain communities, and what this means for skiing's future. Now you might be thinking, what does this random Aussie know about skiing in America, or what megapasses have done to skiing? Well, I live in Australia, and we have seen the same thing firsthand, with Vail's entry into 3 of our largest resorts. I have personally purchased the Epic Pass for many years and used it to snowboard in Australia, plus Utah, Lake Tahoe, Whistler, and Japan, which are places I might have never ridden without the pass. But over the more recent years have moved away from the mega passes and now ski or ride at resorts I actually want to, buying day passes at these resorts rather than feeling like I have to maximize the value of my pass investment. So, whether you're a passionate rider worried about lift lines, a business student fascinated by innovative pricing models, or just someone interested in how industries transform, this story reveals how two companies rewrote the rules for an entire sector of the economy. So with that, let's jump into it. But before we do, don't forget to like this video, subscribe so I can keep making more, and I really want to hear your thoughts on this topic. So tell me about it in the comments. On March 18th, 2008, Vail Resort CEO Rob Katz announced something that shocked the ski industry, the Epic Pass for $579. This price point was called crazy by competitors who predicted it would fail spectacularly. For context, a single mountain season pass at Vail previously cost $1,849, more than 3 times higher. The pass offered unlimited, unrestricted access to 6 major resorts: Vail, Beaver Creek, Breckenridge, Keystone, Heavenly, and Arapahoe Basin. Before this, ski industry consensus held that skier visits couldn't grow significantly, weather volatility made revenue unpredictable, and most major ski companies focused on real estate development for stable income rather than lift tickets. Katz's vision completely inverted this model. By generating advance commitment revenue before snow fell, Vail could insulate itself from weather risk while dramatically lowering prices to drive volume and customer loyalty. The first year sold roughly 60,000 passes. Within 3 years, the model proved its worth. During Katz's tenure, from 2006 to 2021, Vail's stock price surged from $33.04 to $354.76, a staggering 973% increase. Pass sales grew from those initial 60,000 to over 2.1 million, and owned resorts expanded from 5 to 37. By 2024, season pass revenue represented approximately 65% of Vail's total revenue compared to roughly 25% in 2008. A complete business model transformation. To understand just how dramatic this shift was, we need to look at the pre-Epic Pass landscape. In 2007 to 8, single resort season passes at major mountains cost $600 to $1,849, typically included blackout dates during holidays, and were primarily purchased by locals and frequent skiers. Multi-resort access was rare and restrictive, limited to nearby resorts under the same ownership. Day tickets were relatively affordable, around $80 to $93 at major resorts, making casual skiing accessible to middle-class families. While Winter Park had pioneered discount season passes at $250 in 1998, and Bogus Basin in Idaho offered $199 passes starting in 1999, no one had created a cross-regional multi-state pass network, offering destination skiing at such aggressive pricing. What Katz and Vail Resorts did wasn't just a price drop, it was reimagining the entire business model of the ski industry. As Epic Pass transformed skiing, a response was inevitable. In July 2017, private equity firm KSL Capital Partners orchestrated a $1.5 billion acquisition of Intrawest Resorts, purchased Mammoth Resort, and acquired Deer Valley for undisclosed amounts, reportedly near double traditional valuation formulas. This new company became Alterra Mountain Company. On January 25th, 2018, almost a decade after Epic's launch, Alterra announced the Ikon Pass for $899, launching March 6th, 2018 for the 2018-19 season, with 26 founding destinations. What's fascinating is how Alterra's strategy differed fundamentally from Vail's acquisition model. First CEO Rusty Gregory described Alterra as a house of brands and not a branded house, emphasizing decentralized management, where each resort maintained local leadership and authentic character. While Vail aggressively bought resorts outright, Ikon built a coalition of independent partners, including Jackson Hole, Big Sky, Aspen Snowmass, Alta, and Snowbird, resorts that valued independence but wanted to participate in a pass network. This partnership model allowed Ikon to offer 60-plus destinations while owning only 18 resorts, with partners receiving payment based on pass usage and redemptions. Ikon positioned itself as the premium alternative, pricing $200 to $300 higher than Epic Pass and marketing superior terrain, less crowding, and destination quality experiences. The original $899 Ikon Pass price versus Epic's $579 reflected this premium positioning. As of 2025 to 2026, the Ikon Pass costs $1,329 compared to Epic's $1,051, still maintaining that 20 to 25% price premium. Alterra acquired Arapahoe Basin for $105 million in 2024 after DOJ antitrust review, bringing its owned resort count to 18, while partnering with 40-plus additional independent resorts globally. With the Epic Pass proving successful, Vail Resorts executed one of the most aggressive acquisition campaigns in ski industry history. Let's look at some of the most significant purchases. Park City Mountain Resort for $182.5 million in 2014, which later merged with Canyons to create America's largest ski resort at 7,300 plus acres. Whistler Blackcomb for $1.1 billion in 2016, the largest ski resort purchase in history. Stowe, Vermont, and Crested Butte as part of the Triple Peaks package in 2017 to 2018. Perisher in Australia for $135 million in 2015, and Falls Creek and Hotham, also in Australia for $124 million combined in 2019. Then came the Northeast and Midwest expansion. Vail's 2019 acquisition of Peak Resorts brought 17 resorts in a single transaction, including Mount Snow and Hunter Mountain, plus numerous Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Midwest feeder mountains. Seven Springs followed for $125 million in 2021. This strategy created a hub-and-spoke model where urban feeder mountains near major cities funnel guests to Western destination resorts. European expansion began when Vail purchased 55% of Andermatt Sedrun Sport AG in Switzerland for approximately $160 million in 2022 and 84% of Cran Montana Mountain Resort, also in Switzerland, for roughly $136 million in 2023, marking Vail's first owned European resorts. In total, Vail Resorts spent over $2 billion acquiring 30-plus resorts between 2008 and 2024, building a portfolio of 42 owned mountains, generating 17 to 19 million annual skier visits, and controlling 36.1% of the US ski market by visits. The company claims 53% of all North American destination guest visits. Both passes have seen significant price increases over time, though they still represent extraordinary value compared to day tickets. Epic Pass pricing climbed steadily from the $579 launch price to $1,051 for the current season, an 81.5% increase over 17 years. Key pricing milestones include reaching $979 by 2021 before a pandemic-related 20% price cut to $783 for 21 to 22 season, marketed as Epic for everyone. Then aggressive increases to $909 and $982, right before breaking the $1,000 barrier at $1,051 for 2025 to 26 season. Ikon Pass pricing showed even steeper increases from its $899 launch in 2018 to $19 to $1,329 for 2025 to 26, a 48% increase in just 7 years. The trajectory accelerated with 3 consecutive years of 7 to 8% annual increases, $1,079 in 22 to 23, $1,159 in 23 to 24, and $1,249 for 24 to 25 before reaching $1,329 for 25 to 26. Both passes dramatically outpaced inflation over this period, with 3-year increases from 2022 to 2025, reaching 23% for both Epic and Ikon. Despite these increases, pass sales continued growing until recently plateauing at 2.3 million Epic passes sold annually, with 2025 to 26 showing the first volume decline. Epic Pass units down 3%, though revenue up 1% due to price increases. This suggests market saturation may be approaching. Here's where the business model gets particularly clever and controversial. The Megapass business model fundamentally depends on making day tickets so expensive that passes become the only logical option. This pricing strategy has pushed casual skiing beyond reach for many families. Historical context reveals dramatic inflation. Vail Mountain charged $5 for a day pass in 1962. Inflation adjusted to $44 in 2022. Approximately $92 in 2008 to 9 when Epic Pass launched, and $239 by 2022. For 2025 to 26, Vail announced peak day tickets up to $356, a stunning 400 to 500% increase above inflation since the 1990s. This pattern repeats across Megapass resorts. Park City charges $299 at peak times. Deer Valley reaches $329. Aspen ranges from $179 to $259. Stowe hits $164 on peak weekends. Even formerly affordable resorts like Eldora raised day tickets from $84 in 2016 to $169 post-Ikon edition in 2017. The average US ski resort day ticket now costs $131, according to National Ski Areas Association data, but major Epic and Ikon resorts charge $200 to $300 during peak periods, with 25 plus resorts exceeding $200. This pricing structure creates extraordinarily low break-even points for pass holders, just 4 to 5 days at major destination resorts, versus the historical 10 to 12 days before megapasses. A family of 4 skiing 5 days at Vail would pay $4,000 to $6,000 for lift tickets alone at walk-up rates, plus equipment, lodging, travel, and food. Easily $10,000 to $15,000 total. The same family buying Epic passes faces high upfront costs, but dramatically lower per day costs if they ski frequently. This bifurcates the market. Frequent skiers with capital gain unprecedented access and value, while occasional skiers and beginners face prohibitive costs. That perfect moment when the powder flies above your head. The adrenaline rush of getting a new top speed on a freshly groomed piste. The breathtaking alpine views that are so good that you have to show your mum. Some moments are too extraordinary not to share. But here's the reality of mountain connectivity. This Ikon shows up a lot. unless you've got Roamless and their eSIMs. I live streamed the Ski World Championships from Saalbach Hinterglemm, sent real-time videos from the top of Hintertux Glacier, and video called my mum from the gondola at Kitzbühel just to show her the view. With Roamless, I'm always connected to the fastest local networks, so I can share every incredible moment instantly. The app even tells me when I'm running low. Topping up takes seconds, and I can do it from a chairlift. Because what's the point of taking an epic ski adventure if there's no one to share it with? Use code SNOWSTASH for $5 USD free credit. Roamless and their eSIMs. Share the world wherever you are. The most profound shift came in pass holder versus day ticket market share. National Ski Areas Association data shows season pass holders represented less than 45% of skier visits in 2018 to 19. By 2020 to 2021, season pass holders hit 51% for the first time ever, surpassing day ticket buyers, 31%, and other access methods, 18%. This ratio has held steady through 2024 to 2025, with season pass holders consistently representing 49 to 52% of all visits across 5 consecutive seasons. Behind these statistics lies fascinating behavioural change. 42% of all skiers now ski 5 days or less annually, yet 53% of people skiing 3 to 5 days bought season passes, meaning many pass holders barely use their passes enough to break even. Even more surprisingly, 37% of those who skied 0 to 2 days still bought season passes. This pattern benefits resorts immensely. They collect revenue up front from pass holders who underutilize their access while concentrating investments on infrastructure and experiences for high-frequency users. Epic Pass grew from 60,000 at its launch to 825,000 in 2019 to 2.3 million in recent years. Combined with approximately 1 million Ikon passes sold by 2022, the mega passes represent 3+ million passes, generating roughly $3 billion in advance annual revenue for Vail and Alterra. This advanced cash flow revolutionised ski industry economics, enabling infrastructure investment, hedging weather risk, and creating extraordinary customer lock-in through annual renewals. Vail Resorts' financial performance demonstrates the Megapass model's profitability while revealing recent challenges. Fiscal year 2024 showed total revenue of $2.885 billion, with resort EBITDA of $825.1 million, 28.6% margin, and net income of $230.4 million, $6.07 per share. Total skier visits reached 17.56 million, down 9.5% from the record 19.4 million in fiscal year 2023, but still representing roughly 20% of all North American skier visits to Vail properties alone. Lift revenue totaled $1.443 billion in fiscal year 2024, 50.1% of resort revenue, with pass revenue up 9.4% year over year, while non-pass revenue fell 10.7% due to weather normalization and volume declines. This illustrates the model's genius. Locked-in pass revenue grows even when conditions soften and day ticket sales decline. The effective ticket price reached $82.14 per skier visit in fiscal year 2024, up 12.2% from $73.20 in fiscal year 2023, demonstrating pricing power. However, storm clouds are gathering at Wall Street. Vail's stock price fell from a November 2021 peak of $373 to $148 in 2025, a 50% plus decline, erasing roughly $3 billion in market capitalization. Analyst consensus ratings dropped to hold, with projected revenue growth of just 3.8% annually through 2028, well below the US market average of 8.7%. Most concerningly, Epic Pass unit sales declined 3% for 2025 to 2026, though revenue increased 1% through price hikes, suggesting market saturation. The company carries $2.46 billion in net debt, 3 times EBITDA ratio, manageable but constraining for aggressive acquisition activity. The scale of these pass networks is astronomical. Epic Pass 2025 to 26 offers access to 80 plus destinations globally, 42 Vail-owned resorts with unlimited access, 37 in the US, 1 in Canada, 3 in Australia, 2 in Switzerland, plus partnerships offering limited day access, including Telluride for 7 days, resorts of the Canadian Rockies, 7 days total at 6 resorts, Verbier for 5 days, and 30 plus European partner resorts across Austria, France, and Italy. New for 25 to 26, Epic added 6 Austrian destinations, plus expanded Verbier access to Epic local pass holders. Key US Epic Pass resorts include Colorado's Big Four, Vail, Beaver Creek, Breckenridge, Keystone, plus Crested Butte, Utah's Park City, California's Tahoe Trio, Heavenly, North Star, Kirkwood, Washington's Stevens Pass, Vermont's Stowe, Okemo, and Mount Snow, and extensive Northeast Midwest coverage. Ikon Pass in 25 to 26 provides access to 60 plus destinations, 18 Altera-owned resorts with unlimited access on the full pass, plus partnerships offering 7-day or 5-day limited access at 40 plus additional resorts globally. New for 2025 to 2026, Ikon added Ischgl in Austria, Le Massif de Charlevoix in Quebec, and Valle d'Aosta, 5 resorts in Italy, while critically moving Arapahoe Basin from 7-day limited to unlimited access after Altera's $105 million acquisition. Wyndham Mountain Club in New York departed, the first ever Ikon resort removal, but this was likely due to the resort taking a more private resort direction. In the United States, the Ikon Pass gets you access to Colorado's Winter Park, Copper Mountain, Steamboat, Eldora, and Arapahoe Basin, all unlimited, plus Aspen Snowmass for 7 days. Utah dominance with 6 resorts, including Deer Valley, Alta, Snowbird, Brighton, Snow Basin, and Solitude. Wyoming and Montana, big hitters like Jackson Hole and Big Sky. California's Palisades Tahoe and Mammoth Mountain, plus extensive Canadian coverage. Critically, 0 resorts appear on both passes. The Epic and Ikon systems maintain completely separate resort portfolios, forcing skiers to choose sides in the duopoly. Combined, Vail and Altera control 51.2% of US ski market share by visits through just 53 owned resorts, 14% of total US ski areas, demonstrating extraordinary concentration in an industry with approximately 480 to 492 operating ski areas nationwide. The Megapass success brought an unprecedented crisis. We have all seen the overcrowding. Specific incidents went viral, documenting the problem. February 2020 epitomized the issue at Vail Mountain. After 24 inches of snow in 48 hours, guests faced lift lines dubbed the lift line from hell, with wait times of 30 to 75 plus minutes, despite paying $209 for day tickets. Viral video footage circulated widely, showing gondola lines triple their normal length, with guests arriving 2+ hours before lift opening seeking first tracks. February 2021 brought even worse scenes during pandemic-complicated operations. At Vail on February 6, 2021, parking structures filled by 9:19 a.m. with 529 cars parked on South Frontage Road overflow. Witnesses reported a fistfight at Chair 36 in Blue Sky Basin over line cutting. Steamboat the same weekend saw a local report to the Vail Daily. I've been skiing my whole life, and I'd never seen lines like Saturday. I felt kind of unsafe. Utah's Cottonwood Canyons descended into chaos. Little Cottonwood Canyon and Big Cottonwood Canyon experienced the worst traffic in years, with cars parked illegally, drawing $250 fines, rangers reporting people ripping out no parking signs, and resort guests turned away after hours of traffic, told to come back in a couple hours. Utah saw 7.1 million skier days in 2022 to 2023 versus 2 million in 1981, a 255% increase, far outpacing population growth. Epic Pass sales growth drove this volume. Vail Resort's total visitation reached 16.2 million in 2021 to 2022 across 37 North American resorts, 20% of all continental skier visits flowing to Vail properties alone. Social media documentation from Reddit's r/skiing and resort forums captured the sentiment. Mount Bachelor was added to Ikon last season, and there has been a very noticeable increase. Lift lines are fucked up every weekend now. Another said, literally ruined the Cottonwood Canyons in Utah. Busiest ever in 15 years since Ikon. The overcrowding crisis forced operational changes, many originating as COVID-19 pandemic measures, but becoming permanent capacity management tools. Jackson Hole Mountain Resort became the first major Ikon resort to require reservations, announcing the system in August 2021 for the 2021 to 2022 season. Ikon Pass and Mountain Collective holders must reserve in advance, with the resort selling out 41 of 137 operating days in the 2023 to 2024 season. President Mary Kate Buckley stated bluntly, "We've been trying to decrease visits since 2018. Utah resorts followed en masse during 2022 to 2023. Alta Ski Area implemented mandatory Friday, Sunday, and holiday parking reservations, costing $25 per vehicle with $250 fines for violations. Solitude Mountain Resort required reservations before 11 a.m. on peak days, charging $25 per vehicle for 1 to 2 occupants, $10 for 3 occupants, and free for 4+ passengers via Carpool app. Brighton Resort implemented similar $25 weekend parking. Snowbird Resort created a hybrid system mixing free first-come parking with paid reserved spots starting at $10 per day. Crystal Mountain in Washington epitomized the confusion and backlash. After parking lots filled by 7 a.m. on weekends, Crystal first introduced $20 to $30 paid parking in December 2021, then created a controversial $3,799 Premier Pass for 23 to 24 season that included parking access, essentially charging $1,800 above the regular $1,249 Ikon Pass price for parking privileges. Social media erupted. Crystal faced heat from customers who spent $999 on an Ikon Pass only to find parking unavailable. For the 24 to 25 season, Crystal reversed course, returning to unlimited Ikon access with free parking if reserved within 5 days. Vail Resorts notably eliminated its COVID-era reservation system after just one season, announcing in March 2021 that no reservations would be required for 21 to 22 and beyond. CEO Rob Katz called the system much scrutinized and removed it to reward loyalty after pandemic disruption. Instead, Vail implemented daily lift ticket sales caps starting in the 22 to 23 season, the first ever limits, though Colorado resort operators report caps are rarely reached in practice. The company also invested heavily in lift infrastructure, $320 million in 2022 to 2023, for 21 new or improved lifts at 14 resorts, attempting to increase capacity and reduce wait times. The Megapass era killed ski bum culture. Heather Huntsman's reporting in Powder Days and Adventure Journal documents the extinction. Nearly 2 decades ago, I moved to the mountains to be a ski bum, chasing snow. In ski towns in western Colorado in 2005, risk was everywhere, but in a way that felt exciting. Returning recently, she found everyone trying to build a life in those towns was struggling. At the most basic level, the math just didn't work. In most mountain towns, it's now nearly impossible to work a single full-time service job, the kind that resort towns depend on and afford rent. Housing costs exploded in ski towns coinciding with Megapass expansion. Avon in Colorado, near Vail, saw median home prices triple from 2015 to 2023, 4 times the national increase. Big Sky Locals reported, all the affordable long-term rentals we had before this year are now off the market and seem to be only available online. It's priced out all the people that support this town. I know of resort employees living in tents in the forest. Crested Butte's median home price jumped 40% in 1 year to $895,000, with rents soaring 20 to 40%, forcing restaurants to close entire days for lack of staff. The Wooden Nickel Steakhouse posted, "Employee crisis and limited menus, barely enough cooks to run the restaurant, some cooks just quit." Skier behaviour shifted dramatically toward conquest skiing and resort collecting. Pass holders now track numbers as status markers. "This is day 31, it's cost me about $20 or less a day at this point," one Ikon holder bragged to NPR. Reddit discussions show pass holders strategizing to maximize value by skiing as many different resorts as possible, treating mountains as collectibles rather than communities. Social media transformed skiing into visual currency, with Instagram posts documenting visits to multiple resorts as personal branding rather than authentic mountain experiences. The mega passes have created a profound affordability paradox in skiing. For frequent skiers with upfront capital, these passes offer extraordinary value. Break even at just 4 to 5 days with unlimited access to 40 plus resorts for $1,000 to $1,300, democratizing destination skiing for the upper middle class. Yet, this same system has proven catastrophic for occasional skiers and working class families. A single day trip to Breckenridge for a parent with child now exceeds $800 when including rentals, lessons, and fees, while a family of 4 skiing 5 days easily spends $10,000 to $15,000. As the International Report on Snow and Mountain Tourism noted, the US ski industry is facing increasing prices paid by a declining number of customers, creating a system where fewer unique participants ski more frequently. The economics behind this bifurcation is remarkably efficient for resorts, but troubling for the sport's accessibility. By shifting to advanced season pass sales, resorts solved their weather risk problem, but simultaneously created a crowding crisis by removing the marginal cost of additional ski days. Research from the Mariner S. Eccles Institute explains that while pass purchases benefit from lower per-day costs, day pass prices have surged 60% since the 1990s, inflation adjusted, deterring occasional skiers and beginners from trying the sport. The result is economically rational for both businesses and frequent skiers, but creates infrastructure strain while pricing out casual participants. Contrary to predictions, this consolidation hasn't destroyed independent skiing, but instead created space for thriving alternatives. The Indy Pass exemplifies this counter-movement, growing to include 270 plus independent resorts, offering 2 days each at participating mountains for $449 to $599. What's remarkable is how it maintained stable pricing, $349 for 3 consecutive years, while Epic and Ikon implemented annual 7 to 8% increases. Similarly, Mountain Collective offers access to 26 to 27 world-class resorts for around $659, reporting double-digit growth year over year as skiers seek authentic experiences without mega resort crowds. Independent resorts have demonstrated surprising resilience and innovation. Whitefish Mountain Resort maintains $89 day tickets and sub-$800 season passes. Mad River Glen, America's only cooperatively owned resort, explicitly refuses Epic/Ikon partnerships, stating, "Everyone here likes it the way it is." The anticipated wave of small resort closures never materialized. The US still has approximately 480 operating ski areas, unchanged for a decade, with many reporting record attendance as skiers seek alternatives to corporate homogenization. The Megapass model's environmental costs rarely receive scrutiny, but prove substantial. Increased visitation concentrates pressure. Utah saw 7.1 million skier days in 2022 to 2023 versus 2 million in 1981, a 255% increase, straining mountain ecosystems. Weekend powder days now trigger traffic jams, with 260,000 plus vehicles weekly through Colorado's Eisenhower Johnson tunnels during peak season. The resort hopping behavior, encouraged by mega passes, increases vehicle miles traveled as skiers chase conditions across regions rather than skiing their local mountain. Someone in Colorado with an Ikon pass might drive to Utah on Saturday, Steamboat on Sunday, maximizing pass value but doubling carbon emissions. Parking infrastructure built to handle peak crowds sits unused most days, representing inefficient land use and environmental disturbance. Snowmaking expanded dramatically to hedge climate risk, now representing 15% of operating expenses and substantial water and energy consumption. The average ski season declined 34 days since 1982 due to climate change, concentrating visits into shorter windows and intensifying per-day environmental impact. Wildlife habitat faces increased disturbance from higher traffic volumes, parking lot expansions, and more frequent helicopter operations for backcountry access products marketed to pass holders. The Epic Pass and Ikon Pass created skiing's most profound transformation since chairlifts replaced rope tows. For frequent skiers with upfront capital, the democratization is real. 1,000 to 1,300 buys access to 40 to 80 plus resorts globally, where previous generations paid $2,000 for single mountain passes. Record numbers of skier visits in 2023 suggest more people skiing more often. Infrastructure investment reached record levels, with Vail alone spending $300 million annually on lift upgrades. Season pass holders now outnumber day ticket buyers for the first time in history. For mountain communities, ski bums, occasional skiers, and local culture, the destruction is equally profound. Housing costs tripled in resort towns, pricing out the workers essential to operations. Ski bum culture, once viable on $349 Colorado passes and $80 day tickets, essentially ended as median home prices reached $895,000 in Crested Butte and rental inventory converted to short-term rentals. Day tickets exploded from $80 to $100 to $200 to $356, creating a two-tiered system where casual skiing became prohibitively expensive for middle-class families. The number of unique skiers declined even as total visits increased, fewer people skiing more days rather than more beginners entering the sport. Vail and Altera combined control 51.2% of US skier visits through 53 owned resorts, plus partnerships with 80 plus additional mountains, forcing resorts to choose sides in a duopoly with zero overlap. Local character eroded as high-end chains replace independent retailers, and corporate policies banned barbecues, spontaneous ski parties, and mohawks on lift operators. Labour unrest culminated in the first major ski patrol strike in modern history. Whether this destruction was necessary, cost for democratizing access, or avoidable consequence of prioritizing shareholder returns over skiing culture remains the defining question as the megapass era enters its third decade. With labour strikes, CEO turnover, stock price collapses, and declining pass sales, suggesting the business model faces its most serious challenges since Rob Katz's revolutionary $579 Epic Pass announcement transformed American skiing forever. Thanks for watching. Ciao.